Christmas was almost forgotten. World events in the closing days of the old year made the setting for the arrival of 1948. And it was a seasonal reminder that the English love of the country is as great as ever, which took the cameras to Stratford-upon-Avon. Here, the West Warwickshire farmers' hunt moves off on its annual meet. It is at the beginning of a year, in the second month of its season, that fox hunting reaches its peak. Nearly all of Britain's 180 registered packs meet at this time. In Warwickshire, there was a field of nearly 100 followers, and the meet was watched by many holidaymakers. Favoured by sunny weather, the meet went off successfully, even though the hounds didn't make a kill. For the hunt, a tradition in British sport had been observed. Year's end brought national rejoicing to Sweden. It was the 40th anniversary of King Gustav's coronation. Great crowds gathered in front of the royal palace when the king drove off to a celebration service in Stockholm's cathedral. School children and old people born in the same year as the king were included in the royal party. 89 years old, King Gustav was reported to be too weak to attend the evening Jubilee celebrations. Only recently, the elderly monarch had taken part in a Swedish tennis tournament. In his 40-year rule, he has become a well-loved figure throughout his country. All told, it was a royal week, with royalty in the news for a variety of reasons. Victor Emmanuel, King of Italy for nearly 50 years, died in exile, 78 years old. Only 5 feet 2, death came to him in Alexandria, the city he once hoped to enter at the head of his conquering troops. A quaint little man, it was Victor Emmanuel who accepted Mussolini's rise to power. Victor Emmanuel died a forgotten man. His former kingdom, like 6 other European states, had become a republic. On a continent where a few years ago 11 sovereigns reigned in all their glory, only 5 were left, for yet another, Michael of Romania, had abdicated. 26 years old, he had had little say in the affairs of his communist-dominated country. Rumor linked his name with Princess Anne of Bourbon-Parma, extreme right. In great secrecy, Michael and Anne spent a week in Lausanne with the Queen Mother, Helen. But reported interference from Foreign Minister Anna Pauker had forced Michael's hand. Like his father before him, he renounced his throne as a result of political pressure. It looked as if Michael's near neighbor, Yugoslavia's Marshal Tito, had assumed the mantle of kingship over the whole of the Balkans. 57 years old, Josef Broz, Tito's real name, had come a long way since lining up with Stalin. The Marshal went to Budapest to draw Hungary closer to the communist fold. An agreement signed by Hungary's Premier Dini and Tito provides for mutual aid between the two countries. It was similar to pacts the Marshal made with Bulgaria and Romania. There was only one spot in the Balkans where things were not going entirely Moscow's way. But as the new year came in, the communists were stiffening their efforts in Greece too. A large-scale guerrilla war flared up in the Greek mountains near the Albanian frontier. Striking from the borders, the rebels gained some ground. From Salonika came members of the United Nations Balkan Committee to report on the fighting. A free Greek government has been set up under the rebel leader, General Marcos. The Athens government replied with wholesale arrests of communists all over the country. 72 were court-martialed in Salonika for illegal possession of arms. The Communist Party and all communist papers have now been banned. In Athens, more than 500 people were taken into custody. UNO observers said that recognition of the rebel government would constitute a grave threat to international peace. Meanwhile, Greek reinforcements move up to the northern border. Fitted out with some British but mostly American equipment, They will aid hard-pressed garrison troops. Whatever the outcome of the rebel offensive in Greece, it is an indication of the extreme steps the communists are prepared to make to gain complete control of the Balkans. Task of the UNO Commission is made more difficult by the hostile attitude of Greece's neighbors. The royalist government alleges that rebel bases have been set up behind the Bulgarian and Yugoslav frontiers. Against a background still scarred from Greco-Italian battles 6 years ago, fighting has broken out anew. Konitsa is the guerrillas' first objective. Possession of the frontier town would provide a seat for the rebel government. As the new year opened, Greece was the one country where the ideological clash had passed the stage of verbal battle. UNO's task in 1948 would be to ensure that other danger spots would not resort to civil war to enforce political faiths.